Hi, my name is Deborah. This is Booking with Deborah. It's November. That means that it is time for IndigAthon here in booktube land. So I am here today just to talk through briefly the books that I am planning to read for IndigAthon. The two hosts of IndigAthon are Bear and Michelle. I will leave a link in the description box below to their announcement videos, so if you would like to find out more and if you would like to join in, you can go and check it out. There are 7 prompts this year for IndigAthon and a group read. The group read is Apple in the Middle. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to participate with this one because I am unable to get it from my library and it doesn't seem to be available on Audible, and I don't use an e-reader, so I can't get it on Kindle. And I'm not in a position to buy any new books at the moment. However, it does sound like a really good book, so I have added it to my wish list for future in the hope that it might become available on Audible or my library at some point in the future. The books that I am going to read, I'm going to talk you through them with each of the prompts. First prompt is to read a poetry collection, and for that I am going to read An American Sunrise by Joy Harjo. In this poetry collection, Joy reflects on moving to her tribe's original lands for the first time, on the blessings and the difficulties of remembering and re-experiencing her tribe's forced removal, and on being connected to her ancestors. It draws on her memories of her mother's death, native rights and tribal history. So that sounds like it's going to be really interesting. Don't think I've read any poetry by an Indigenous author before. The next prompt that I am covering is to read a book by an older protagonist, and for this prompt I am going to read The Yield by Tara June Winch. This is an Australian author, and the older protagonist within this book is a character called Albert. He is aware, and we know this from the outset, that he is dying soon, and he has spent his life on the Murrumbidgee River at Prosperous House on the Massacre Plains. Being aware that he's dying soon, he feels an urgency to pass on the language of his people and everything that he has remembered throughout his life. And then I think there's a kind of second story within that, which is another character called August, who is Albert's granddaughter, who returns to Prosperous House for her grandfather's funeral. But when she returns back, she finds out that the property is being repossessed by a mining company. So I think it's also about her fight to kind of retain the land for herself and obviously future generations. This is described as a powerful reclaiming of Indigenous language, storytelling and identity. I've heard really positive things about this book. I'm actually going to be listening to it on audiobook because I think it includes some language. So I sometimes think when there is language spoken that's not in your native tongue, it's quite useful to do it on audiobook so you get a proper understanding of how the language should sound. And then for my next book, I am covering the prompts Reader Host Recommendation, a book with a favourite colour on the cover, and a book covering Indigenous joy. And for that book, I am going to read Healer of the Water Monster by Brian Young. This is a middle grade book and it just looks so lovely. The cover is gorgeous. In terms of my favourite colour, I am quite partial to the colour blue, and this book has a beautiful blue water monster on the cover. This book is also being read by Michelle, who is one of the hosts, so I'm taking that as a kind of recommendation if she's reading it, and I suspect this book is going to be full of Indigenous joy. It is about Nathan, who goes to visit his grandma Gnarly at her mobile summer home on the Navajo reservation. And while he's staying with his grandparents one night, he discovers something extraordinary in the nearby desert. Holy being from the Navajo creation story, a water monster in need of help. I like to fall asleep listening to an audiobook at night, so I tend to listen to lighter books in terms of themes, and so middle grade is kind of perfect for that. So this is going to be my nighttime bedtime listen throughout November. And then the final book that I am going to be reading is, to cover the prompt, read a non-fiction book, and I am going to be reading The Soul of an Indian by Charles Alexander Eastman, Charles Alexander Eastman. This sounds like a very interesting author that I am going to want to go and find out more about, because this book was first published in 1911. This is kind of classed as a classic. So it's nice to have the opportunity to read a classic book by an Indigenous author. Charles Alexander Eastman was born in 1858 and died in 1939. He was raised traditionally as a Woodland Sioux, and this book is an illumination of Native American spiritual beliefs and practices. It explores the wholeness and beauty of the existence and the natural world. And I am also going to be listening to this one on audiobook, because it is available on Audible in their Plus catalogue. So if you are an Audible member, it is available for free. The final prompt is to read a book by an author from your native land. Unfortunately, I'm not able to meet this prompt because I live in the UK. Those are all the books that I am planning to read in November for IndigAthon. I'd love to know if you're taking part in IndigAthon. Please let me know in the comment section down below if you have read any of these books, or if you're interested in reading any of these books. It would be really lovely to find out how you found them. And if you've been watching my channel for a little while, you will know that as well as reading my books, I also like to do a little bit of extra research around issues. So if I get a chance this month, I am also going to see if I can find some maybe documentaries or a film or some short talks from Indigenous people that will improve my understanding and knowledge. So when I do my wrap up, which will probably be in early December, I will include that information as well. That's it for now. Thanks very much for watching. Take care. Bye.